You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Claire, I'm not standing here asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you not to marry him.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow.
It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have our next guest in. He's Tom Weiler. He'd like your vote for the United States Senate. And I'm like, yeah, I got to talk to this cat. Tom, how are you, sir?
Great. How are you doing, Al?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for coming on and playing with us. It's a weird predicament I'm in, you're in that there are right now, as I understand it, because I haven't seen anybody pull out, 10 of you folks wanting to go up and win this U.S. Senate seat. Is that a bit daunting?
No. I think it's a good sign, actually. The fact that there's a lot of interest in the seat means a lot of people agree with me that it is very winnable. I'm confident that I'm the strongest Republican candidate to get a win November 3rd. That's my goal, is to provide Minnesotans with better representation in Washington, D.C., bring integrity, truth, and competence back to statewide politics in Minnesota.
Well, let's go through this, and we will decide whether you're the best, my friend. Give me some background. Age is something I can't ask. What have you done? We'll figure it out. Where do you go to school? Where do you go to high school? Where do you go to college? Give me a little background.
Of course, I grew up right in Eden Prairie. I played football for Coach Grant, like all good Eden Prairie boys. Did not win any state titles, though.
All right.
I headed off to the University of Notre Dame on a
Now, you can't go too fast on this program. You talking Grant? You talking Mike?
Yeah, Mike Grant. He was my coach in high school.
He cut his teeth at my high school 20 years earlier at Forest Lake High School. That was his first. Yeah, so just didn't want you to wing by. We didn't win any championships either, but go on. Now, you're out of Eden Prairie, and then where'd you go from there?
Got it. Well, I got an interception in my second game. No, we won't go on Eden Prairie football forever, although I'd love to come back and talk on that. But then I went off to the University of Notre Dame on a Navy ROTC scholarship. Thought I was going to be the next Maverick, sort of from the Top Gun era. But studied civil engineering, did pretty well in engineering, and I went off to nuclear power school to become a submarine officer.
Wow.
And ended up driving submarines for about 20 years.
Right. You're going too fast. Where you got questions come up as you go. So you go to nuclear submarine school. How long does that take?
It's 6 months of academic training. So coming out of civil engineering, did well at Notre Dame. But yeah, really got challenged. Navy nuclear power training is an unparalleled academic institution when it comes to military.
So you go in not as a butter lieutenant, lieutenant,
ensign with my butter bars.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, so then you're learning how to make nuclear subs, just keep them running. What is it you do as a?
What we're learning is how to operate the nuclear reactor. So as a junior officer, our first assignment on a submarine when we show up about a year and a half after we graduate college is to be the engineering officer of the watch. So we're in charge of the nuclear reactor on a submarine as they're deploying. My first sub was out in Hawaii, so deployed on USS Chicago out on a Western Pacific deployment about 2.5 years after I graduated college. And
I'm gonna keep interrupting you because I just find this fascinating. We'll get to the Senate thing. So how do you know you could be in a sub for any length of time? I think I could have. I was in the service back then, but I was outdoor. I was a grunt. Could have done it, I thought. And then I went on this little weird submarine thing at Disneyland.
Yeah.
It freaked me the heck out. I didn't feel comfortable. I'm like, there's no way. How did you know you could do it? Well, you go to all that school and find out you can't. What a waste.
That's the beauty of Navy nuclear power submarine recruiting. You don't know what you're signing up for until it's too late. So you're already underway a couple 100 feet under the water on a negatively buoyant tube, and then everyone looks around going, "What the heck did I sign up for?" But you really don't know. I did a midshipman cruise between my sophomore and junior year at Notre Dame, and I liked that. But that was about 4 days of underway and 20 days sitting on Waikiki Beach. So
there's a difference.
I sort of drank the submarine Kool-Aid, but at the end of the day, I ended up loving the submarine force, and all things equal, I'd still be in the Navy. But I had a medical curveball that prematurely ended my career.
All right, so you get out of the Navy, and what did you do from there?
So out of the Navy, that was only a couple of years ago. I retired due to a early diagnosis of Parkinson's disease.
Okay.
And I knew I still wanted to continue to serve. I actually tried to get back to my submarine commanding officer tour following my diagnosis. Volunteered for deployment on an aircraft carrier, actually over to the Middle East, off the coast of Iran in 2020, but could not get the Navy to give me the thumbs up on that. So retired after 20 years.
Thank you for that, sir.
I wanted to continue to serve, and first thing I wanted to do is come back to my home state of Minnesota, and I ran against Dean Phillips actually in 2022.
Okay.
I got second place in that, but I was able to scare Dean Phillips out of Minnesota politics. So.
All right, and he is out. He is out, but that's an interesting seat you're going for. Let's family, married, kids, anything like that. Give us a little personal background.
2 kids, a second grader and a fourth grader, and my wife is
What's the mix? Boys and girls, what's the mix?
Fourth grade girl and a second grade boy.
All right, good for you. And your wife, what does she do?
She is a teacher. She was a lawyer by training, and now she's teaching actually at the kids' little Catholic school. So it's
all right.
Yeah, working out good.
Good for you. So you decide you gave it a shot at the Phillips seat, the rep seat. He's out. What makes you think the Senate seat is where you fit? What is it that works for you there? I mean, it is a crowded field. The other side is pretty. It's Angie Craig or Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that in a second. Who you think you'd rather run against? But on your side, and I please, I know the name Gruenhagen. I know Han, obviously, people know he's been around for a while. Schwartzes runs for some other seats. Royce White ran for this one before. You're in kind of a field, and I haven't even mentioned Michelle Tafoya, who gets in and instantly has the name recognition. I'm not ripping your name. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, but Tafoya's been on Fox TV how often and that sort of thing. Where do you sit in this, and why do you say you're the best?
Well, I think I definitely have the strongest sort of background, relevant national security experience and relative experience overall, and proven leadership, as well as sort of enough national and DC politics to be dangerous, but definitely not a swamp creature, I guess. And specifically with Michelle Tafoya, she's sort of chosen by the DC power brokers as Minnesota's choice, and Minnesotans, I think, are looking for a genuine Minnesota who has the right experience to go into that Senate leadership position and have the knowledge and expertise to immediately work on their behalf, not someone to go into the Senate to learn the ins and the outs.
No, I can give that to you. What you can't beat, and I say this, Royce White, of course, ran for it already, so he's got some groundwork laid out. Mm-hmm. Tafoya comes in with that name recognition. How does Weiler, how does Tom get his name out there? Is it all, I hate to say this because it's true and I know it and it sounds like a dumb question. It's about the money, right? Somebody wants a guy like Weiler who starts putting your money up. Go to the donate button. We'll talk about your website. But that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, you've got to get enough people to know who Tom Weiler is.
That's a huge piece of it, unfortunately. And unfortunately to the level of the NRSC, I was talking to months ago, and they've come out in support of Michelle Tafoya. And their first 2 questions for me were, are you rich and are you famous, or both? Yeah. And I said, well, no, I took care of the rich thing by being a submariner for 20 years, and I'm underwater for most of that. So I'm definitely not famous. But to me, Minnesotans and all Americans understand that they're not happy with their representation in Congress. Congress has about a 15% approval rating. And I think folks, especially in Minnesota, are awake to the fact that sometimes we need quality over clickability when it comes to our statewide representatives. And to me, that's what I provide. A moral leadership, quality, and relevant national security experience. And like I said, the amount to push policies forward that help Minnesotans, help all Americans. And that's what I'm going to Washington, D.C. to do.
Well, let's talk about some of those actual topics and the competition on the other side and the other side of the break. You got 2 minutes for me?
Absolutely.
All right, he's Tom Weiler. He's looking for your vote for Senate. You can find him at Tom Weiler. That's Tom, usual spelling. Weiler, WEILER, 2026.com. More right after this.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota Capitol, you need more than a lobbyist. You need a partner. At Momentum Advocacy, we bring nearly 90 years.
2 minutes and you're still on YouTube. Just just for your information. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We help organizations navigate Minnesota's political landscape with integrity, insight, and results. Whether you need legislative champions or headlines, Momentum Advocacy delivers. For more, visit momentum-advocacy.com. Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis.
Getting to know him is Tom Weiler. He's looking for your vote for Senate. Tom Weiler, that's WEILER, 2026.com. Check him out. Let's talk some of the issues. I mean, you talk a lot. Obviously, folks don't understand, but if you were in a nuclear submarine going around the world, you paid a lot of attention to foreign affairs. I would grant you that 20 years, I bet you're sharp as a stick on that. Some of the other things, I'm looking at your website. Government accountability. I find this interesting because this stuff's driving me crazy in Minnesota, the amount of money that just seems to be flushed down the toilet, and no one seems to really get riled up over it. As a U.S. Senator, what is it you think you can do to help us that one?
Well, as a U.S. Senator, the accountability and the stewardship of taxpayer dollars, Minnesota taxpayer dollars, American taxpayer dollars, right behind, ensuring safety and security for all Americans and their property. Yeah. Fiscal stewardship to me is the number two responsibility of the United States Senator, and the amount of fraud and lack of accountability in Minnesota is just completely unacceptable. There needs to be accountability from Governor Walz all the way down to every Minnesota parent who got a false diagnosis of autism or took advantage of that free ride program and received kickbacks. And that's it. So where we are right now is unacceptable. And it's sort of a double hit for Minnesota taxpayers in particular. One, they're paying exceptionally high taxes. Two, they're not getting anything back for those taxes. And therefore, the taxes are continuing to go up because the services are not being provided because they're ended up in an offshore account in Kenya, with folks driving nice cars around.
All right, fair enough. And you'd be a champion to fix that. Now, the other thing on your website, which I actually loved, is $38 trillion debt that we have as Americans. What I find interesting, you seem like a young man, sir, I'm not ripping on you, but I'm really old, is we were panicked about hitting $1 trillion.
Yeah.
In my lifetime, we were paying, you hit $1 trillion, the world was going to stop. Is it almost funny money anymore? $38 trillion?
Unfortunately, it is funny money until it's not. And
Yeah.
I think that cliff is coming, and it's really going to come in this 6-year term. That's the other thing I'm highlighting with my experience is this is a 6-year Senate term. Donald Trump's going to be there another 2 years. And things like the insolvency of our Social Security system is going to come up within the next term. And I am going to Washington, D.C. as a problem solver. My engineering undergrad, operating nuclear power submarines, driving submarines, and my recent work at DARPA, those have all been problem solving positions. And that's what we need in Washington, D.C. We need less lawyers, less talkers, less sideline reporters, and more engineers and problem solvers. And that $38 trillion debt, step one to address that is forcing Congress to budget. And I have a specific proposal that will incentivize the Senate and the House to pass budgets on time, or there'll be severe consequences for their pay and fundraising ability. And to me, that's sort of step one to get our handle on a $38 trillion budget. Force Congress to budget, make hard decisions, and if Minnesotans and Americans like those decisions, they'll get elected back in, and if not, they'll try someone else.
All right, other big conservative traits. You went to Notre Dame, doesn't mean you're Catholic, but you're Catholic, sir? I see the cross.
Yep.
Your stance on sanctity of life, Second Amendment, those things, where you stand?
Well, I absolutely believe in the sanctity of life. I believe life starts at conception. And I'm pro-baby, I'm pro-mom, I'm pro-family. When I'm a senator, or hope to be a senator, I'll take aggressive actions to try to minimize abortions in this country. It's not a federal issue anymore, it's a state issue, and that is what it is. But there's pragmatic things we can do to minimize abortions. One of them that I really want to support is ensuring ultrasounds are available for all women who are pregnant. That alone significantly reduces the amount of abortions that occur. So my goal on that front would be to reduce the number of abortions. Second Amendment, completely support that. And I understand that as someone in the military who drove nuclear powered submarines with torpedoes and tomahawks on board, I understand there's limits on what can be held in the private sector and what cannot. But yeah, complete support of the Second Amendment.
All right, fair enough. On the other side of the fence, you have Representative Craig and you have Lieutenant Governor Flanagan. One of those will get that run. Either one of them scare you to run against? Is there one you'd rather run against? Maybe that's a terrible, misleading question.
Neither one of them scares me. And really, I think I'm running against both of them, as well as Senator Klobuchar, because between that three pack, and you throw in Governor Walz, I guess, if Republicans cannot get a statewide win, it's going to be Senator Klobuchar as governor, Angie or Peggy as this senator, and either the other one appointed or Governor Walz as our senator. So that's what Minnesotans, I think, have to realize on November 3rd when they're walking into the ballot box is one-party control in this state has driven to billions of dollars worth of fraud, a struggling economy, and an exodus out of Minnesota. And we, at a minimum, need to stop one-party rule and send a problem solver to Washington, D.C. to start fixing things and not creating problems.
All right, I've less than a minute to go. Let's get people, if you're interested in Tom's story, it's Tom Weiler, Tom, WEILER, 2026.com. Look him up. Your website has got everything there, including donate if you want to help out. Sir, good luck. Godspeed to you. I hope things go well. I mean, you're in a crowded field. We'll know a lot more as caucuses come and caucuses go, and that's what on BPOU meetings. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time, and I want to get out there and meet Minnesotans and have Minnesotans feel that they can trust me and hopefully like me, and I hope to earn their votes.
All right, well, they can check this interview out if you care to at the Al Travis Show YouTube page. More right after this.
At LGH Wealth Management,